Clearly, I've got some work to do. It's very, very close. You look at this and it doesn't seem like much, but there's actually a lot more done here than it seems, but there's still a lot more that needs to be done. So got to make some updates and, keep using my forms here. So Rick was gracious enough to send me some original pictures of the build. So I'm actually going off these to make sure things are going to work. But, for the most part, we've got a lot of stuff done. I've got the transes mounted. We've got wheels and tires. I cleaned up that primary guard. I'm gonna work on the seat. Got a little trick up my sleeve for the seat. Focus on that, of course. Exhaust has been cleaned up. Controls are cleaned up. Shift linkage is cleaned up. Waiting on those tins, which we'll get that done. Plumbing's checked. Oh, God, axles are good. Waiting on the paint. That goes with tins, right? That's one and the same there. Got a brand new carb, so that's done. Electrical's there. Seat, again, is right along there. I don't know why I've got that twice, but that just means how important it is. Got a new battery. Kicker's good. Check that. New chains, new everything. So we're getting close. I mean, we really are getting close, but the biggest problem that I have is this right here. Finish. I've got to get the bike done. I've got a pile of parts over here that have come off. I've been assessing them and preparing. But I have one major massive concern. And what my concern is, I gave those tins back to Rick. And so Rick is remaking those tins. Now, Rick's a master at what he does. He built it originally, but this bike has pre-drilled and tapped holes for the original tins. So fingers are crossed when they show up that I will have the right tins. They will all line up and mount. Because if they don't, I got to take a drill to that and make sure things bolt on. And that's nothing I want to do. That's nothing I want to mess with. I would rather make sure that it bolts on, it fits. I get all these beautiful parts back on, but that's where we are. And you can't go forward unless you know where we came from. So come with me, let me tell you where we came from.
My name's Lyonel Gammon. I live in northern Utah, and I have a story to tell you. Last season on Barnyard Bike, you came with me on my epic journey as I found my grandfather's 1988 Harley Davidson Softail that had been long since forgotten and left in the barn. Put it back together. We stripped it all the way down and worked with the industry's greatest builders and manufacturers to put this bike back. Well, I'm glutton for punishment and I'm doing it again. This time I have found a motorcycle that was built by a world-renowned builder. Now we're taking his bike that was once lost and forgotten, and we're gonna put it back on the road. So join me as I take the adventure of my life, building a motorcycle and raising my 3 boys to become men. This is season 2 of Barnyard Bike. So after completing my first bike, I got the itch to build another. Well, I was lucky enough to meet a guy who bought a custom bike built by Rick Bray, and I was eager to pick this bike up and make it my own. Not take anything against what Rick built, but make it my own. And so I pulled the trigger on it, sight unseen, saw the bike at one point, pulled the trigger, bought the bike, and what showed up was not a motorcycle. What showed up was a pallet full of motorcycle parts. And not all the parts were there. It was kind of pick and choose what you're getting, what you're not getting. When you're sold a complete bike, and it's not a complete bike, it's pretty devastating. And when you get a phone call from an LTL shipper that you need to go pick up this package, it's not exactly the call you want. I was anticipating a transporter to pull in here and roll out a motorcycle from a trailer, and instead, I got a pallet of parts. Like I said, that doesn't look like an entire motorcycle to me. So we're gonna tear into it, see exactly what it looks like. I am praying that it's all here because I don't know how I'm gonna take King Solomon, put it back on the road without all of the parts. This bike is a one-off bike, built once and only once. Well, at least it's packed up, and that's not reassuring. Look at that, that just all popped right off. All that wrap just popped right off one pull. Well, it's King Solomon, all right.
What if I'm injured in a motorcycle accident?
Call Law Tigers.
What if I can't get this paper jam to clear?
Don't call Law Tigers.
What if the vehicle hit me on my motorcycle and I smack my head?
Definitely call Law Tigers.
What if I get a paper cut?
Were you on a motorcycle?
No, but I used to own a moped.
Still, don't call Law Tigers, and please, get it together. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Probably one of the most rewarding parts of this project is not only getting to build another motorcycle, but I made the decision to give back the tins to Rick. And I had no idea the sentimental value of what this motorcycle meant to Rick. And showing up at his shop with a box in hand and giving him the tins, which I thought were just cool paint tins and he would like to have them because he created them. But then to actually find out why he built the motorcycle, to find out that he built it in 5 weeks as a tribute to a friend of his that he lost. That's where it was so rewarding to actually give Rick back these tins so that he can remember his friend. That not only did he build it for him, but now Rick gets to keep part of it and remember his friend to that next level.
I got to share the story of this thing. I built a bike for my buddy that passed away, Colby Solomon. He was a great friend of mine. We lost him over some fluke deal. And I built a bike in his name, and it did really well, won a big show. It won everywhere we went. I lost it in a fire. My painter friend, his shop caught on fire, and I always displayed my stuff there. And I lost the bike in that fire. So when this came about, this show, it's kind of like build 2.0 for Colby, you know? Everything I do, motorcycle wise, race car wise, anything that I could do to represent him, I do. It's weird stuff. Like the name of this is King Solomon. His last name is Solomon. The first bike was Solomon Special. But it's odd. I'm a weirdo about numbers. His number was 9. So like the frame, the neck angle's 39 degrees. There's 9 bolts here, or you know, just stuff like that. So to see this thing again and be a part of it again is really cool. I didn't really want to sell this bike, but I had to. I was in between stuff, and you know, life happens. I needed some money. I just happened to be in Florida getting off the boat, and a guy wanted me to leave it in Florida, so there it was. I haven't seen it since. So it was a pretty big surprise for Lyonel to bring this thing. I can't. I don't know how he found it, to be honest with you. I'm glad he did. Me and Lyonel are pretty tight, and for him to have it is way cool. And obviously for him to bring me back in, it's awesome. I'm hoping we keep it to its true name, you know. Keep my buddy's name on it would be great. I don't know, these things like this mean a lot. Like people have these stories here and there, but this is for real. Everything I do, anything I do has something to do with him. Like there's something hidden in everything I do for Colby. So this is fantastic. Like I can't. I'm kind of in awe still here, but it's gonna be cool to share all this with you guys too. Like this is a great story.
The only thing standing between you and the open road is some garage time with the right parts and accessories to make your motorcycle roar. And that's why riders everywhere choose DennisKirk.com, the one stop you need to get your Harley back on the road. Our knowledgeable tech staff will help you navigate our more than 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories that are ready to ship today, with free shipping on all orders over $89. So tune up your ride and get ready for the next adventure. Ride more, wait less. Dennis Kirk.
So when I get this complete bike, it's completely missing the front end. So come to find out, when I take the tins to Rick, Rick built 2 front ends for this King Solomon bike, and he, by happenstance, kept the first one, and for some reason it didn't work, and I'm reaping the benefits because I'm getting the original front end, now that it's been modified, from Rick.
It showed up on a pallet, palletized.
So there were 2 sets of forks for that bike. The first one I screwed up and it sat way too low. I'm pretty sure I still have that.
No, see?
Yeah.
Lead the way, man.
We're going to the hidden treasures.
Well, see, I've learned enough of everyone in the motorcycle world. And you say hidden treasures, that legit is there's going to be like a diamond in the rough in there that no one's seen.
I mean, this is the Rat Pack and hoarder stuff that you're like, oh yeah, I'll use this 20 years later. That bird just me.
He got hit. Dude, I have never seen that in my life.
Anywho,
Did I get the ricochet?
So yeah, look, dude, there's all kinds of goodies. But, haha. Gonna have to replate it. That son of a right there.
The silver lining of waiting for tins and motorcycle parts from a custom builder is, of course, they're not just sitting on the shelf. He's got to create an idea and build them, and everything that Rick does is a one-off. So I get the honor of having one-off parts from Rick, but the benefit is, the silver lining is that the parts aren't here, so I get to focus more time with my boys. So I get to help and support them in rodeo, and we got to have a little more fun. This was a big year for Holden. He got to go on his ram hunt. That I take all my boys on a ram hunt when they get to a certain age, and so not having those parts here, I was able to pull myself out of the shop and go out on the hunt. One of the first rites of passage for me and my boys here at Jack Wagon Ranch is when they turn 8 years old, they get to go on a ram hunt. You make the calls on what you want to do.
I think
You saw a little herd.
I think we're gonna go around here, come up where that little dirt hill is, and see what's over there.
You want to get on top of that ridge?
Yeah, kind of. See what's there. Because that's where they were heading. What about the white one? Got a pretty good shot on him.
Good time. Right, the kill going on.
Yeah! Don't drop him now.
I was able to teach my son what conservation's about, that you hunt for a purpose, not just to kill. And that was rewarding. That's something that is a memory that I'm never going to forget, and I hope he never forgets. But blessing in disguise, the tins aren't here, so I'm able to go out and do that kind of thing. This year, of course, is the 84th annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and Sturgis brings me there business as usual, marketing and advertising and having a good time and enjoying the community that I'm a part of and embracing everything that's motorcycle. 84 years ago, the Jack Pine Gypsies started what we call the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. They started it right here, and what they did is they were racing their motorcycles. They wanted to see who was fastest, who had the best bike, and they did it all in hill climbing. 84 years ahead, here we are today, doing Sturgis our way. We don't all hill climb, but the hill climbs do still happen. But we come together, this is like a big family reunion. My brothers and sisters of the open road, we come together every single year, right here in the Black Hills, and you wanna know why we come here? It's for the hills, and it's for the motorcycles, for the roar, the rally, and everything that comes with motorcycle riding. It's the Sturgis 84th Annual Sturgis Rally. Now, the downside is I set a goal to ride King Solomon in Sturgis, and clearly that didn't happen. We ran into issues and complications, but that's okay, because I actually had the opportunity to ride my first bike, my first Barnyard bike, that was my grandfather's, and I had the opportunity to ride that in Sturgis. Now, ride's great, looks phenomenal, but I always put myself in these weird situations where apparently I like stress and I like tight deadlines, because while at Sturgis I found out there was a show called the Evo Entanglement Show, which is Evo motors only, exclusively, and I decided, well, my 88 is an Evo, so let's take it and enter it into the show. So make the decision, did the registration, and then took off, did some riding. Well, build a chopper, they said. It'll be fun, they said. No one told you how much fun it is when you're on the side of the road and you watch the charity ride you're supposed to be on, raising money for children, rides by and leaves you. Because that's where I am. Coming out of Deadwood, of course, the issues happen. And at the time I had no clue what happened, but that rear tire locked up and dang near put me on the side and then almost put me into oncoming traffic. So I've now bit off more than I can chew yet once again, because I've got to be at a show in about 12 hours and I don't have a motorcycle that runs. And I'm stuck trying to get back to Deadwood. All right, the bike's in the trailer. My hero arrived. But I'll tell you right now, when you come to the motorcycle rally, it means it's time to ride. That motorcycle's been in the trailer too long. 5 minutes, it's too long. It's time to get riding. I'm headed up the mountain now with my hero and his truck and trailer. And we're gonna get this bike back fixed, because I gotta put some miles on my bike. How embarrassing is it to be rolling your custom-built bike into a shop on its first big main trip? Well, let's go find Jason, give him the bad news, and hope he doesn't kill me, and hope that he can actually get it done, because that's a lot of bikes right here. Of course, in Sturgis, the whole industry comes together. I mean, it's like the mecca of motorcycling. Everybody comes in from around the country. And I had an opportunity to meet a new guy with a really cool company called Redbeard Leather. And this guy does amazing murals, if you will, in leather. Hand tools, the whole thing. And I got talking to him, and I've asked Redbeard to actually help me make a seat that is a one-off for King Solomon that nobody else would have. And it's completely different than what the bike originally had. Again, I'm trying to put my own spin on it. And AJ at Redbeard's coming through for me with a custom tooled seat, which is great because I'm a Western guy. I love leather tooled work, and now I get a piece of that on my bike. I'm here at the world famous Field of Flags at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally with my Barnyard bike. And of course, it took a little bit to get us here. Of course, we had problems. Completely demolished the rear bearings on this rear wheel. A little scary when you're cruising down the road and you get that feel going on, but thankfully I was able to keep it on the rubber, get it off the side of the road, figure it out. And of course, we fixed it. So fixed it just in time to get it here. So this is actually the Evo Entanglement Show. Of course, this bike is an Evo motor. That's the power of it. That's the heart and the soul. And I'm not expecting anything. I'm not a bike builder, so I'm not thinking to win. Sorry I'm late. Dude, I'm Lyonel. Where are you going to push her? You want me to push it up there?
25 minutes. We are going to start the awards.
So after dropping off my bike in the bike show, I set off for a little adventure there at the Buffalo Chip, and of course I run into Rick.
I made you a little deal here.
Your end held up.
Yeah.
Actually, everything's ready.
No,
Everything's ready. Why do you think I've been ignoring you?
because you want to make me fret
Absolutely.
and stew.
Hey, if I gotta stress over getting it done, you gotta stress over getting it.
Rick gave me the wonderful news that my gas tank and my oil tank, which are now one-off builds from Rick, are done and complete, and he's gonna package them up and get them shipped out back to the ranch.
What do you guys want to ride first?
I'm gonna ride the 6-8.
The Sturgis Motorcycle Rally is a 10-day rally, so it pulls me away from the family. And the first order of business as soon as I got back was to take the boys over to the amusement park. We went to Lagoon and spent a day, and it was amazing because Mackenzie needed a break. My wife needed a break from the boys. Clearly she didn't miss me while I was gone for 10 days, but she needed a break from them. So I tore the boys off and we just went. I had a heck of a good time. Left the cell phone in the truck because nobody needs to bother me. There's nothing more important than that time I got to spend with my boys.
That one's my favorite. That one's one and no, hold it. That one's my favorite. That one's my. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Set, go! Here it is. Ready? So if you've hung on this long to see my progress from taking Rick's King Solomon and putting it back on the road, I promise you it's going to be done. We're getting it there, and I just had another ridiculous timeline fall into my lap. So hang with me as I try to hit this deadline and get King Solomon back on the road.